Hi everyone, my name's Louise Piffero. I am an archivist at Leeds University Library Special Collections. So thank you for having me today and giving me the opportunity to talk to you a bit about our service. So I'm going to give you a bit of an introduction and an overview more specifically of the medical archives we hold to fit into the theme of today. So I'm really hoping it can potentially encourage some of you to use our collections. That might be for research, or you might be looking for some source material to inspire your artistic practice. Archives have so much to offer and can reveal some really unique and exciting stories from the past, so I'm bigging them up today. So to start with, Special Collections is based at the Brotherton Library on campus, so we're part of the library service here, and we're at the back of the Parkinson building, if you've ever been in there. We hold hundreds and thousands of rare books, archives, manuscripts and art collections. We actually have 5 designated collections, so the Arts Council has designated them of national importance. I'm going to try and make sure I remember all of them. So we've got the Liddell collection, of which covers First World War experiences, the Cookery collection, our English literature collection, the Leeds Russian archive, and our Gypsy, Roma and Traveller collections as well. So they're some of our sort of core collections. But we have so much more than those as well. Our collections cover so many different subjects, so could be science, education, music and politics, theatre and arts, medieval manuscripts, things like that. So there's all sorts that we cover. We hold lots of different types of archives as well. So business archives, we could have personal papers of individual people, records of arts organisations, with rare books as well, and they can come in all sorts of different formats. Paper and parchment are quite standard, but photos, we could have bound volumes, maps and plans. We've got lots of coins as well, tapes, and digital records as well. This is just to show you that we've got an online catalogue where you can search for any material in our collections that you might be interested in. And our reading room is open to the general public as well as university staff and students. So please do come and visit us if there's anything you want to see. In addition to the sort of reading room side of things, we've got 2 galleries. So we've got the Stanley and Audrey Burton Art Gallery, so that showcases our art collections. And we've got the Treasures Gallery as well, which opened about 2 years ago now. And this is where we display our special collections materials, mainly archives and books. And these are both in Parkinson Court. So again, do come and have a look around those if you're free. We do a lot to try and actively encourage use of our collections, and we work a lot with academics and research institutes and centres across the campus, as well as external bodies as well. So please, this is just a plug to say, please do get in contact with us if you're interested in working with our collections, and we're really open to discuss any ideas you might have for collaborative projects. It might be suggestions for exhibitions, student placements, you might be thinking about funding bids, so do come and speak to us. So, more onto the theme of today is medical archives. So this is just going to be a very, very quick overview of the medical archives we hold. It's not going to cover everything, but hopefully it's just going to spark a bit of interest. So as we've sort of already heard today, Leeds has been at the forefront of many advances in clinical practice in the last 250 years, and it goes back to the opening of the Leeds General Infirmary in 1767. Many of the medical archives that we hold in special collections reflect this history in the city. So one of the key archive collections we hold is the Administrative Archive of the Leeds School of Medicine, which dates back to its opening in 1831. So there's a little picture of the school there. And the school is actually a predecessor of the University of Leeds itself. So the Faculty of Medicine, as we know it today, has its roots back in the school. The archive is, a fascinating insight into how medical training has changed over time in the city. We also hold the records of various departments within the school, so Department of Pathology or Anatomy, things like that. We also hold a variety of case books, notebooks and other papers by various sort of influential surgeons and physicians in the city. So I've got a couple of examples up today. We've got the patient casebooks and papers of the 18th century surgeon William Hay. He was really influential in establishing the infirmary and was also Mayor of Leeds and did lots and lots of other things. So that's him in the corner, and this is one of his case books here. We also hold the archives of the urologist Leslie Pyra and Frank Parsons, and their archives cover their groundbreaking work to open the first artificial kidney units in the UK at the infirmary in 1956. So that's been absolutely fascinating to look at. And then one of my particular favourites in the corner, that's a picture of one of the case notebooks of the forensic toxicologist Thomas Scattergood, who was actually the first dean of the Yorkshire College of Science Medical Department here. Scattergood's notes cover all the forensic testing of evidence that he did for many, many criminal cases in the 19th century, and mainly to do with poisonings. So actually, he gave evidence at the case of Mary Ann Cotton, who was tried and convicted for serial murder in 1873. So there's notes about all the testing he did for that case. So that's really fascinating. We also have really strong collections relating to nurse training and practice. That's a really strong part of our collections. So we hold the archive of the influential nurse Dame Kathleen Raven. She was matron at the infirmary in the 1950s and went on to become chief nursing officer at then the Ministry of Health. She was really influential in developments in NHS nursing in the 20th century and influenced the introduction of intensive care units into UK hospitals. We also have records of the health visitor training course that was run at the university from the early 20th century up to 1989, and a set of nurse training registers for the Leeds General Infirmary, which detail all the training that individual nurses would have received, dating from between sort of 1850s up to 1950s. So that's sort of the archive side of things that we've got, but we also hold printed historic medical books. One of the key collections is our Health Sciences Historical Collection. There's a range of subject matter covered, and the books date between 1606 to 1950, so there's lots to choose from there. We've got a lot of resources on our website that can tell you a lot more about all the different collections we hold if you're interested, but please do get in touch with us if there's anything specific you want to know more about. So just to quickly finish off, I just wanted to end with an example of where our literature collections have links to the themes of health. So just to try and tie in with this theme of arts and health today, to look at things from a different angle. So Special Collections holds the archive of the poet and playwright Tony Harrison. And Harrison wrote a television play called Black Daisies for the Bride as a tribute to sufferers of Alzheimer's disease. This was filmed at High Royds Hospital in Menston, and the film went on to win the Prix Italia in 1994 for Best Documentary. So within Harrison's archive, we actually hold his papers and notebooks, all to do with the making of this film. So it's an absolutely fantastic resource. We've recently been awarded funding from the Friends of the National Libraries to digitise these papers, and these aren't the actual notebooks here, but they're examples of notebooks that Harrison kept for other works that he created, just so you can see what they're like. And we're hoping the digitisation is going to make these archives a lot more accessible to a wider audience, and we'll be looking to do related events and things like that. So just to give you an example, really, of where the themes of sort of health and medicine can be found in archive collections that aren't sort of on the surface medical related, but there's all sorts that can hopefully inspire you there to use our collections. So yeah, if you've got any questions at all, please do get in touch with us after today, because I'm not sure if we have time for questions, but yes, thank you very much for listening.